How you doing, everybody? This is episode 7 of Comin and Clutch. My name's Lorenzo Iacomini, a.k.a. The Speedy Guidi.
And my name's Cody Lewis, a.k.a. the LA Car Spotter.
And this is our first guest ever, Will Collette. We're continuing from the last episode, so if you haven't watch that now. Roll the tape.
So where we left off, you were dying in a Mustang,
Yeah.
kind of, sort of. So tell us a little bit about what happened. So you had a black Mustang, you lost a wheel, it got totaled, and how did that bring you to your new Mustang?
Yeah, within a month, insurance cashed in. I took the rest of my savings, turned that into the 2014 Roush, and I've been driving that around this last year. I decided to upgrade the rotors and the pads because they always run hot at Malibu Audubon, which is what we love to do rallies at. And
Not a bad idea. Update brakes.
Yeah, put some slotted rotors on it, some ceramic brakes, and I installed them myself. And I made the mistake of putting the back ones.
Wait. Let's before we get there. Installed them yourself.
Yes.
And then went on a rally. But before the rally, you installed them and you said I put the front brakes on, but they sent me another version of the back brakes or the front brakes, so I can't put them on the back.
Yes.
So now I have the stock back brakes and I have new front brakes.
Yes.
So you thought, and an additional set of front brakes.
Yes.
Okay, now go.
Yeah, so I thought that we had 2 sets of front brakes. So I was like, all right, so we went to this show and we rallied really hard with...
We fucking sent it.
Oh, we went hard in the canyons and on the freeway. And I ran those brakes really, really hard. And the next day, I was commuting home in some stop-and-go LA traffic on the 405 going like 20 miles an hour. And I hit the brakes just kind of lightly. And I hit this loud boom sound. And all of a sudden, I had my whole brake pedal went soft. I had no stopping power. I was rolling towards the car in front of me. And I grabbed the handbrake and threw it into park. And I screeched to a stop like within a foot of the car.
Thank God for manual handbrakes, right?
Yes, dude. I don't know what I do with an electronic handbrake. I hate that idea. But
Jesus Christ.
dude, screecher stop, was stranded on the far left lane in rush hour traffic. I was like, oh God. Cop had to show up and I had to literally gas the car and let it go across while he like blocked traffic, rolled to a stop in the shoulder and waited 5 hours for a tow truck to come and get me because there was a forest fire right over the hill and all the smoke was like coming over and all the traffic from that was everywhere. So I was waiting and I got it towed and I found the pads quite literally fell out of the calipers and all of the brake fluid came flying out.
Phenomenal.
So I had zero. I didn't even, how you don't have brake fluid, you at least have friction. I had nothing. I had no pads. They're still on the 405. So I was like, what happened? And I thought that this company, R1 Concepts, sent me the wrong part. He goes, I think you may have put the backs on the front. I said, no. I've changed my brakes and rotors many times. I did this right. I said,
who did your brakes? And he was like, oh, it was me.
Oh, I did it. I did it right. And then he's like, no, I think it might be you. And I was like, no. And then I go to the mechanic. He's like, yep, these are faulty parts. I was like, I knew it. So I put R1 Concepts on blast on my Instagram story. And then when they found out that we read the serial numbers on everything, it's like a 2 millimeter difference. But I had put the backs on the front. And it was just enough to make them fail. And if it had during that rally, at any point, we would have absolutely gone over the edge in the Malibu Canyons.
You'd be toast.
You can't stop a car going 90.
Because back brakes, if people don't know this, but back brakes are generally smaller than front brakes because most of your stopping power comes from your front brakes. Mm-hmm. So you tend to have larger front brakes. So if you put your back brakes or brakes that are supposed to go on the back on the front, they're going to be too small and they're not going to make the connection with the brake.
Yep.
So that's what was going on.
Yeah.
Hot digging, man.
I was very lucky. So that's twice my car has failed at around 20 miles an hour. And both times, if it would have happened at the speeds I usually drive, it would have been fatal.
Man.
Wow. Yeah.
So your car, which aptly named the other one was Harambe, and this one is
the DM slider.
The DM slider.
Yeah.
It's on his.
I caught you one time. I was on my run.
You did, yeah.
And I saw a Mustang drive by a DM slider, and I was like, "Whoa!"
DM slid off the side of Malibu Canyon.
Oh, a zing!
Oh, what a zinger! No, but seriously, I mean that is not only absolutely terrifying, but totally hilarious and a godsend that you survived. I mean, that's amazing.
I'm stoked. Yeah,
we're glad to still have you here.
Yeah,
man. I mean,
we're honored to have you on the Comin Club
I'm
show.
honored to still be alive. This is great.
We love you.
But speaking of DM sliders and considering that you're all over, I mean, you're all over. You talk to everybody. Everybody knows you. You do all kinds of stuff. Like, how do you connect with these people? Because I know DM slider is more than just a hilarious license plate. That if you're ever driving with Will, I mean, his car is nice. It's great. Great looking car, you know, but everybody pulls up to you with their cameras out because of the license plate of his license plate. So what's the DM slider all about?
Okay, so funny story. I've never slid into girls' DMs, not once. Yeah, no, really. So I
cannot say the same.
That means you're not trying hard enough.
Right? No, so I put DM slider because I'm able to connect with people very well. I'm able to connect with both car owners, YouTubers, and models. And there's a formula to do it on a professional level. And the secret is providing value. And that is, you can't just go to someone and say, hey, Speedy, let me do anything for you. I want to be a part of what you got going on. Let me know.
Absolutely.
You just gave them something to do. He now has to come up with a task for you to help him, which is work. You have to come in and solve a problem for whoever it is you're trying to work with. And if you pay enough attention to their brand, everybody has problems that need solved. So with your show here, you guys are trying to build an audience, so you need the word to be spread. So if someone wants to be on the show, have some way to grow the channel. If I reach out to a model, usually they travel and they're in a city and they don't have a shooter, or they have a brand they need to shoot for, like the Bang Energy video I'm doing next. If it's a YouTuber like Stradman, he needed people that could shoot his cars and debut them, and people that he could trust with the secrecy. When I work with brands, like car brands and dealerships, consistent, dependable content, and just giving them a free shoot and, testing it out so they don't have to pay for anything. So there's always a way where you can deliver value to whoever you're trying to reach out to. And a good way of reaching models specifically is wait for them to post. As soon as they post, make a comment, 3 to 4 sentences, saying something like, hey, I want to, work with you on a shoot. I've got brands involved. I have, outfits for you, something that sets you apart. And I sent you a DM with details. And then immediately send them that DM. Start it with their name. So it's the first word that they see, so they know it's not a bot. And then give them your pitch. And almost always they'll reply if your page is on brand with what they're trying to do. And if it doesn't, rinse and repeat. Unsend the message, wait 2 weeks, do it again.
And this isn't just for models. This is this you would recommend for any type of company or brand or person that you want to work with. Right?
It seems like a pretty foolproof formula here.
It's definitely strategized. It's not just you didn't
just think about it one day and woke up that makes sense. No, dude, this has some thought.
Mm-hmm. You can tell that it's definitely more effective versus the guy that's like, oh my God, you're so hot, I want to take pictures of you naked. Or you're like, oh my God,
that's
Cody.
Oh my God, you're that's a Cody. That's why no one's responding to his DMs. No, but that's incredible. I love the adding value thing.
Yes.
That's big. I mean, for any job.
Yes.
I showed up to the job I have today because I was I basically didn't add any value necessarily. I was like, listen, I freaking love cars, and I know everything about these cars. Okay, perfect. We need someone who can talk to people about these cars. And I was like, okay, perfect. I can do this in my sleep.
They had a problem you could solve.
Yeah. So I didn't initially have something to bring, but besides my intense love of cars, but that's that works for everyone.
Sometimes that works.
Yeah. It's insane.
And if it doesn't work, there's maybe something down the line that you can offer a value.
Absolutely.
Because there's music artists that I've connected with that I've become friends with early on, and I didn't have anything to give them. And then later on, my content got to a level where they're like, actually, we would love to do a shoot with you. So if not now, maybe later.
Kind of a snowball effect, huh?
Yeah.
That was kind of going to be my next point. For those that are out there that don't have so much to offer, the people that aren't already connected with brands or don't already work with other big figures and stuff like that, I mean, what do you have to say to those people that are going to reach out that don't really have so much to offer, that do want to work for somebody or do want to offer something but don't specifically have those connections already built?
That's a great question.
Great question. Easy answer. Get so good they can't ignore you. And that comes from Tom Bilyeu. Basically, hone in on your craft. If people aren't replying to your stuff, they don't want to, have you come work with them, you are missing something on the quality level more likely than not. So focus on your craft. And this guy named Joey Wright Photo is kind of a mentor of mine in the model shooting space, because I told him, I was like it was like 2 years ago, I was like, I want to shoot models. He goes, okay, start with the girls that have almost no following, and they will let you shoot. Once you build up a profile and you have some girls on your page, mid-tier girls will start to open up. And then once you're shooting with them, then you hit a couple supermodels, and then top down you can shoot anything you want. Same thing with cars and YouTubers. I have hit the pinnacle with Stradman, which means now I can go to almost any YouTuber, at least meet them in person at these shows, or try to connect and say, hey, I've shot with Strad, and there's credibility in that.
That's awesome.
So you just slowly build your credibility working at the bottom tier level, if that's what you have to do. Because for every person, for every shooter that wants to get in whatever industry and doesn't have the credibility yet, there is an opposite client that is at the same level you're at that needs to be shot just as bad.
You gotta start small and get in where you fit in.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, just starting this with my Instagram, I felt the same way, but also especially with starting this YouTube and podcast. I'm brand new to this, and we're both not really in this format all the time. So just trying to when we made the first episode, we didn't have any kind of car. Mm-hmm. And then when we made our second episode, we
somehow got a car.
Yeah, exactly. We found a company that was a good company that needed some exposure, and they offered us a great car, and we were able to make that connection. It wasn't a ridiculous supercar, but then having that, it let people know that we were serious about what we were doing, and that people were willing to put their trust in us. Mm-hmm. And then that led us to, Nick, someone like Nick who you mentioned, who's super an awesome guy. I can't say it enough. But just being that we were doing something legitimate, he saw that and was able to kind of help us move forward.
I think it comes down to humility and trust. Like you were saying, you just have to be able to be look yourself in the mirror and say, all right, my quality is not really where it is. Because we've all gone through the moments where it's content stagnating. Why, what's happening?
Yeah.
And it's almost like an arms race. You have to get better, otherwise someone else is going to get better. Mm-hmm. So it's all right, my photos are sucking. Maybe I'll buy a new lens or try something else out. You better yourself. Mm-hmm. I think it takes a lot of humility to look in the mirror and be all right, I kind of suck right now. I got to do something better. And I think a lot of people are just no, I'm going to keep consistency. If I post a photo every day, dude, nobody cares. Get better at what you're doing and be a man and be a woman and suck it up and be I got to get better at what I'm doing because I'm not that good right now. Mm-hmm. And it takes a lot of guts and strength to do that. And I think it's great.
Totally.
And it's obvious that you do that.
You definitely got guts and strength. You are an Air Force captain. Mm. You are a leader in your group. I know leadership's a huge thing for you.
Yeah.
So how'd you not to get off topic? That is awesome insight for all the people that are trying to grow a following, and for the people that are trying to create something, especially in the the creative sector. You really need to connect with people.
Yeah.
But I think also part of that is having a personality where you're not afraid to put yourself out there, but you're not afraid to put yourself out there by yourself.
Yeah.
That you don't need somebody else to bring you there, that you can show, okay, this is me and I am the product and I want to give you myself. And that takes a lot of guts, and it probably took a lot of the same guts to get you where you are in terms of your ranking.
Yeah. Well, to back up, surround yourself with people like you guys. So if you want to level up and you feel like you're stagnant, find people in the space that are doing well. And, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So if I'm not leveling up, I'm paying attention to pages that are working, like yours or yours. And I'm okay, what kind of content are they putting out? And can I spend some time shooting with them? Or can I go to the places where they go? Or, what is it about their photos that's different from mine? Don't copy, but use it as almost
reference.
Reference, exactly.
I think the big thing too for people who are just starting out, I think it's really behooves you to collaborate. Behoove. But seriously, collaborating really helps. Me and Cody started collaborating, and shit just happened, and who knows, maybe in the future we'll collaborate more, and it works out. You're collaborating with Stradman. That obviously helped a ton.
Oh, yeah.
People are always kind of reluctant to be I want to reach out to this guy and we'll do something together. But dude, we're with Shaqs now too, and like our
Collaborate or
quality.
die.
Like if it was just us two filming these reviews, we wouldn't be able to do it. But now we have Shaqs on board, and it's amazing. And we all help each other out. We all get something from it.
Yeah.
And it's mutually, it's all great.
Collaborate or
Get
die.
the community together, man.
Well,
We're a beautiful community of car people. We all love 4 wheels.
Yeah.
Or 2. We like big engines,
car people.
manuals, Mustangs, GT350Rs.
Oh,
like, come on, we're all speaking the same language here.
The car language, the universal.
Enough
car
hate,
language.
more love, man. More cars.
Yeah.
More burning rubber.
But you made a great point. There's a universal car language of love.
Yes.
You know, like no matter where you are, and this guy knows it, travels the world and can speak cars in any language. I mean, it's vroom vroom vroom.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like
vroom vroom skirt skirt. The guy's like, hell yeah.
Yeah, for real. I know that I have had the opportunity to be in some other countries and stuff, and I've realized that I'm not the only person in the world that likes cars. But I know that the being in the position that you're in, you get to travel all over the world, and I'm sure you experience a ton of different people. But I mean, how does the language of cars translate? Like, how's that work?
So a big part of my brand, specifically my YouTube channel, is to share this experience. Because some people like to use cars as a way to separate themselves from others. It's almost like a flex. And I want to use it as a space to share an experience that, like you said, that we all get. So when I was in Korea earlier this year, it only took me about 2 days being in Seoul to find the car community and find the exotics. And ironically, in Gangnam, if you've ever heard of Gangnam Style, that's basically Beverly Hills in Seoul.
Yeah.
And
Interesting.
You can walk into a dealership. You know, I went into Lamborghini, or when I found Aston Martin down there, no one spoke English, but I could kind of show them, like, I'm trying to shoot. I showed them my Instagram. I was like, is this okay? And then they're like, yeah. And then I show them the photos, and it's like we all kind of vibed over that, you know, shared passion. And then one time I had a client in a Ferrari, and I had to pick him up in Beverly Hills and just drive him around. He just wanted to experience the 488. And he didn't speak a lick of English, all Spanish. And he was also like 80 years old. And the entire...
How long have you been living in California?
Yeah, right. No,
And
I
you
speak
don't
German.
fucking-
I
you
speak
don't
German
speak
and English.
fluent Spanish already?
Yeah.
Dios mío!
No, and everything...
Ay, caramba!
Well, everything was communicated through hand gestures in the car. And I could tell just on his face that 2 totally different generations, 2 totally different cultures, backgrounds. He literally flew in from Mexico, and we were in the same experience, enjoying the same passion. And I could see it on the guy's face when he's slapping the dashboard or telling me, rapido, rapido. And I'm like, all right, man.
You guys
We're
are on the same
sending it.
wavelength. No, it's
Exactly.
great.
And I love
It's
that.
amazing.
Oh,
I
that's sick.
remember the first time when I was like 18 years old, I was lucky enough to drive a 458 when it first came out in
You're
Italy.
18.
Like through the streets of Italy. And like
God.
Italy, Italians lose their minds. There's a red 458 through the streets. Like, dude, you drive a red 458 through Beverly Hills.
They're probably like...
People spit on you. Nobody cares. In Italy,
Italians are like, yes! Bravo, bravo!
in Italy, the fanfare came. They're throwing rice from the houses.
I was gonna
It was
say,
like, dude, there's
I could
confetti.
picture in
A
Italy
lady was coming out with like, here's a bowl of pasta. Like everyone's like
just
everyone's
throwing noodles out
You're
the
the-
windows and bread.
you're the driver in the car. You're me. They're like in the car, like, oh my gosh, like grabbing the string. We're like, this is beautiful. Like it is such a beautiful thing. Like I was like, wow, the fact that I just drove down in a metal red block and made these many people happy is so beautiful. Like, of course they're Italians and a little bit more flamboyant than the rest, and they literally lose their minds at the sight of a red Ferrari. But like, it's an awesome thing. Like you park the thing and you're like, ciao ragazzi, and everyone's like, oh, and everyone's like leaning on the car and like, I don't even give a shit. Like that's just so cool. Like it's a great thing, and like I'm gonna circle back around to like, dude, we all speak the same language of these cars, and like it's just an awesome thing. And that's why I love the car community, and I love connecting to people because I didn't know you from Adam, and I know you from Adam for like a year ago, right? We met a year ago,
Yeah.
a year and a little more. I met you like what, 6 months ago, 8 months ago, and like,
Yeah.
but we're just Joe Schmoes. We meet at a car show, and
I mean,
we're
it's
freaking
like-
boys. Now we're here
Exactly.
talking in a garage on a Saturday.
And
We're having the best time ever.
we were talking about this and how like we go to these car shows, and like, you know, I was new in town a few years ago. I haven't been here forever. This is like my 5th year in LA, or it's 5th or 6th. I'm starting to lose count. But you haven't been here that long either, and you just kind of like.
Same, yeah.
I mean, when I came out here, I knew a handful of people, but basically where I like found my rhythm was when I just like went off on my own and started going to car shows, and then I just started talking to other people at car shows that were obviously interested in cars just like I was. And it was guys like you. And, I was there really to like see cars and take pictures, but it turned into just like forgetting to take pictures and just talking and
totally
just, like networking and just like
it's way less intimidating than you think, because I first moved to the same thing happened to me, and like I saw you and I was like, oh dude, this guy, like he knows his shit. Like I saw your
then you
your
realized
page.
I had no idea what the fuck I was talking about.
But dude, if you're like a person who just moved to LA and you're like, what do I do here? Like just go to a car show, and if someone pulls up at a car, just like literally talk to the person about their car. People love talking about their cars.
Mm-hmm.
I have a GTI and like I don't really like talking about that much, but if you seem interested in like knowing about my car, I will literally not shut up for an hour about my car. Like just people love talking about cars.
Talk.
And then you meet people and
just Funkmaster Flex? No. I guess it's
is that a DJ?
Yeah, he's a New York like radio DJ. Car talk.
Yeah, we talk about Pete Tone, Radio One,
Pete
BBC.
Tone? Well, I mean that's also another thing. Is like you are. I mean, just because you're our guest, obviously we want to highlight the different things that you do. You're in a number of different communities. You're not just in the car community, in the model community. You're also in the music community. I know that you guys share a big passion for electronic music, but I want to hear a little bit about like your experience in music photography, because that's pretty sick.
Okay.
I mean, because I'm sure you get some of the stuff you do shooting that translates into some of the stuff that you do shooting cars and vice versa, and just like the techniques and the sort of stuff that you do. So tell us a little bit about how you wound up there.
So I started in music video, actually, because I didn't do photo until like maybe 3 years ago. I did video for about 10 years because that was the only way that I could get into nightclubs in college underage, legally.
That's genius.
Yeah, so
that is genius.
You got a fake ID now.
Yeah, I got fake ID
dude, I literally would walk into clubs sometimes with a camera, like a big camera, and I wasn't even supposed to film that night. And they'd just be like, "Oh, okay." This was before the industry was.
This is a cardboard box.
I was gonna say, just like a fake camera that he found at a tag sale, and just walks in. Just jumps in today.
Everybody now is a freaking DJ photographer. It's oversaturated, which is why I'm out of that game. The model industry will never be oversaturated because guys can't not be creepy around models.
Well, Instagram has turned everybody into a pseudo professional photographer.
Yeah.
So
everything's oversaturated, but I understand what you're saying.
Nightclubs, got in early age because I was in the Air Force. I couldn't use a fake ID or get in, ROTC. Couldn't get in any trouble.
Couldn't get into trouble.
So I went and I shot these shows. I was shooting college football highlights at the time, so they let me use that equipment to go into nightclubs. I shot videos. And same thing with models and cars. I leveled up. So I went from small, tiny, nobody local DJs, and I'd get, maybe an act that came in town, and then I'd shoot like an act that was up and coming. I remember I shot Macklemore, G-Eazy, and Walk the Moon very early on in their careers. And having those, as in my portfolio, helped me get bigger acts later on. And I literally went from my first show was like 10, 15 people with a band called The Dean's List to the last thing I shot was the official after movie for EDC. So we literally pinnacled in that space too.
Dude, that's impressive.
Dude,
that's really
the
cool.
EDC video. I mean, when I watched that, I was like, "Hey, bro, like, why didn't you invite me?" he's like filming a crazy, just like in the section where nobody's allowed at EDC. He's just running through filming everything. I'm like, "Hey, where's my invite?" And he's like, "Bro, it took me like 7 fucking years to get here. Like, it's not just like, hey, here, look."
Yeah. The Tomorrowland's after movie. We used to watch that before games to get fired up.
Dude, insane.
That's insane. I mean, that
is cool.
That's sick. It's sick how you wound up there. So, I mean, like, you did that for a long time. You're out here shooting cars. Like what is next? You wrote a freaking book on the. What is it? The Art of Unpredictability?
Yep. The Art of Unpredictability.
Want to give us a quick little summary of or gist of the book?
Easy.
Just tell us what it is.
Yeah. I was in the most boring place in America, Lompoc, California. I came up with a New Year's resolution. I just joined the Air Force, and I was like, I will not stay stagnant in this place. What is the opposite of routine? Unpredictability. Tony Robbins talks about the basic human needs, and 2 of them are certainty and uncertainty. And some people try to control too much when they should really try to create more chaos in their life. So that book is about basically being your authentic self and creating chaos in your life and putting yourself in positions that are outside of your comfort zone. And I was actually inspired to write that book by this girl that I met and dated in LA when I first moved to Los Angeles. I did it for a couple months. She had 2 books out at the time and was like super mega influencer status. And I didn't know her that life. So I got to know her and was inspired by her to write this book. And then she moved away. I led my unpredictable life for like the last 3 years-ish, 3 years and some change. And what ironically inspired me to really take the leap on this YouTube channel is she resurfaced back in my life about a month ago. Wow. Kind of unexpectedly. She's been off the grid and she's relaunching her brand later this year. And I spent time with her and watched her plan how she's going to debut through YouTube. And I was like, I need to do YouTube. So she was kind of a catalyst for 2 major projects that I decided to take on. Yeah.
Dude.
Super wild.
So you're like all over. So like, what's next for Will Collette? I mean, obviously this YouTube is your rice and beans right now.
Yeah.
And what can we expect from your YouTube channel?
I'm calling it Life Worth Sharing because, like we said, this is all about sharing this experience. It's not about keeping it for ourselves. So whether it's models and shooting and how-tos, or if it's driving cars or being on podcasts or just the LA Hollywood life, it's all about sharing it, telling people how they can have that experience wherever they are in life, and in that universal language of cars. And that's what the channel's gonna be about.
That's freaking awesome, man. Well, guys, we're basically hitting our time, but I want to say thank you, Will, for coming on our show. You're an absolute inspiration. You're a go-getter. You're the most well-rounded photographer out there. Like, we shoot cars, but you shoot models and you shoot DJs and you do like all these amazing things, and you're a videographer. Like, you're an inspiration to everyone, and I find that really amazing. So guys, if you ever want to hit up Will for anything, all of his stuff will be in the link. Make sure you hit him up.
Slide in the DMs.
Slide in his DMs. Do you have anything else you'd like to say before we close out here?
Surround yourself with people like these guys and make sure you're always delivering value. So if you do anything, if you're creating, make sure there's a reason behind it. Find your why. And then when you have people around you that you're collaborating with and building with, make sure you bring them up with you because you're, like you guys said, we all win when we help each other. Super Disney, but it's real.
For sure. And I mean, awesome. This guy, listen, he can't not say inspiring things. So
I feel like I should owe you.
I have a TED Talk. I have a TED Talk.
Oh,
yeah,
there you go.
So you can watch the TEDx Talk.
I feel like that's amazing. I feel like I should be paying you for all this advice you're giving me. Like, I'm gonna Venmo you $20.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
We rent him out for hours to do
$69 an hour.
$69.
I mean, man, we really appreciate having you on the show. I look forward to having you on the show more because
you're coming back for episode 69. We'll save that.
I'm down.
I want to have that Mustang ripping donuts. I know that you have some flashy lights in there that we might want.
We'll play some Coldplay. We are both Coldplay aficionados.
I'm gonna put in earplugs and watch them drive around while they listen to Coldplay because I have no interest in that. And
zero taste. Us, we have taste.
Nah, I like Coldplay, but I also like to stay awake.
And Rufus does so.
Rufus do chill.
Rufus do chill. But this has been another episode of Comin in Clutch. Thank you, Will. And I'm Cody Lewis, a.k.a. the LA Car Spotter.
I'm Lorenzo Giacomini, a.k.a. the Speedy Guidi.
And I'm Will Collette, a.k.a. Bill Cuff.
Oh, yeah. Where can they find you? What's the show? Tell them your page.
YouTube. Go to the YouTube channel, Will Collette. Everybody go there. Forget
Collette.
Everything else. And Will Collette.
Just YouTube.
Link right. The name's
channel.
Right here.
I will reply to every comment. I will, reply to every DM. Like I'm connected with my fans.
Even though he's totally ignoring it, we're also going to put his Instagram down there. Go give him a follow. He takes some really cool freaking pictures.
Woo!
That's it.
Sick.
Fuck yeah, bro. That was fucking good. That was better than the first one.
That was fun.
Yeah, I want to. We had a good